Good afternoon, everybody, and welcome to Westwood Road St Ives. Westwood Road St Ives, it's Kettering Town, the Poppies against the Saints, and we're in a new vantage point here at Westwood Road. We're on the scaffolding about a mile high in the air, so it's a fantastic view actually, and we are the first media team to use it. And we're also going to be filming some highlights that you can see on our, well, we say highlights, Ed's on camera, so we're not quite sure what we're going to get, but hopefully we're going to get some images of Kettering scoring some goals this afternoon. It's a very grey, overcast afternoon. It's mainly also full of Kettering fans by looking at it from this distance. We're opposite the main stand for the first time I've been here and get a full view of the ground. They are developing this ground, although I believe they want to move away from Westwood Road. But at the moment they are trying to improve things as much as they can, like we are at Latimer Park. We've got the teams. I'll just go through it with you. You will see the teams on our screen.
We're currently showing as Redditch.
Apparently we're showing as Redditch on the screen, so it's not Redditch, it's St Ives. I'll go through the teams for you now. In goal for Kettering is Paul White, 12 Dion Kelly Evans, 19 Craig Stanley, 15 Declan Towers, 14 Marcus Kelly, 7 Lyndon Meikle, 6 Michael Richardson captain, 11 Rhys Honus, 10 Ben Milnes, 8 Aaron O'Connor and 9 Dan Holman. Your subs today for the Poppies are number 18 Nathaniel Roturner, 4 Brett Solkin, 5 Gary Storer, 16 Luke Graham and 19 Adam Cunnington. It is the home side now we'll go through. In goal is Martin Conway, 2 Ben Jackson, 3 Mark Coulson, 4 ex-Poppy Monash Sundire, 5 Tom Wood, recently signed from St Neots, 6 Jarvis Wilson, 7 Owen Wallace, 8 Robbie Parker and captain, 9 Ty Ward, 10 ex-Poppy Ben Baker and 11 Ben Seymour Shove. The subs for the Saints this afternoon read like this: 12 is Jordan Patrick, 14 George Bailey, 15 Ollie Snaith, 16 Ando Osei Bonso and 17 ex-Kettering player Jake Newman, who was injured that game at Latimer Park, the game that St Ives won convincingly 3-0 in early December. Marcus Law will be wanting to put that behind the team this afternoon. And it's going to be an interesting one for St Ives. They lost here last week 3-0 to Rushall Olympic. They drew 0-0 at high-flying Stratford Town. Drew 1-1 with Kings Lynn, 1-1 with Barwell, 1-1 with Hales Owen, and they beat Hitching 2-1. So they've only won 1 of their last 6 games. They've also only lost 1 of their last 6 games as well. So they have improved their form. They are lying, though, way down the league. And let's hope they don't improve things this afternoon. If you're Kettering Persuasion, they're in fact in 11th position. They've played 30, they've won 9, drawn 10, lost 11, scored 24, 31 against, and they're on 37 points. There are some games this afternoon that you may be interested to look out for. We'll try and bring you the scores as they come in. It is AFC Diamonds versus Leiston, Alvechurch against Biggleswade Town, Colville Town versus Tamworth, Kings Lynn Town against Redditch, the big one Stourbridge against St Neots, and Stratford versus Hales Owen. I could only see that going one way, Stourbridge St Neots, with their team that's being redeveloped, and they lost 5-0 at Tamworth last week. This is a heck of a game for them at Stourbridge. We'll try and bring you that as well. So Ben Tosland has returned from his loan period at St Ives. He's not in the Kettering squad this afternoon, but he's out there warming up along with long-term absentee James Brighton. He's out there as well. They're just warming up, and pleased to see James Brighton back in the Kettering colours, hopefully towards the end of the season. Tom Knowles, of course, who's just won the Poppies goal of the month for December and January. He's returned to Cambridge United. I'm just looking to see who is down there on the left-hand side, but there's no one there. It's my eyes playing tricks. He's gone back to Cambridge United. He must be one of the only players to have played 13 minutes and caused a sensation by scoring that dramatic goal at Stourbridge, and will go down in Kettering Town folklore. We were talking on the way down here, Ed Palmer and myself were talking about who else would be in that category. My mind can only cast back as far as Mark Cooper when he scored against Gainsborough at Trinity, having just come on as a substitute at Rockingham Road. But Mark, of course, was the manager, had been around the club a long time. This was Knowles' only contribution, and what a contribution that was. And if you haven't seen that goal, please go on to the Poppies TV website and you can see Tom's wonder goal. If you have not subscribed to our YouTube channel, please do so. We're at 1,068, I think, at the moment, which is fantastic, and more the merrier. Upcoming fixtures: next Saturday we are at home against Rushall Olympic. That's February the 23rd. And then March, it reads like this. It's March the 2nd, away Lowestoft Town. Tuesday the 5th is a rearranged fixture, Colville Town at home. And then on the 9th we have Banbury United at home. March the 16th away at Biggleswade, the big game there. St Neots on the 23rd at home, finishing off March at Leeson. I've just heard the referee's whistle go in the tunnel. That's the sound that the teams should be getting ready to come out any moment now. As I say, we're in a really lofty position here. Ed reckons it's the highest he's ever commentated from. That we can talk about anyway. Really short. He looks like a little ant down there as he trudges onto the pitch, and teams are ready to come out. So, not a very large crowd at all, actually. It seems to be all Kettering Town fans at the moment. We do understand that their fans arrive late, having a jolly downtown at the moment, and hopefully we'll come back. As I say, we're hoping to get some footage of this game. Very rare that we do away footage, but we have the capability this afternoon, and we'll see how that goes. I can see the referee in the tunnel bouncing his ball, if I can say that, which I can. Mainly all Kettering Town fans here at the Pro Edge Stadium is the sponsor's name, but it's Westwood Road is the official name of St Ives, and it's a fantastic view, as I say. Pitch looks in good condition. It's the best I've seen the St Ives pitch in many a season. It does help with Cambridge City not playing here this season, and it makes a change for them to have a decent pitch and not have too many games postponed through pitch elements. Teams are in the tunnel. We're getting near to 3 o'clock. It's Kettering Town, of course, top of the league, 5 points clear of their near rivals Stourbridge. Should be a foregone conclusion with Stourbridge this afternoon. They're in second place. Stratford on 28 games, lost against Colville, and they are on 50 points, 17 points behind Kettering. Kings Lynn in fourth. They've played 29. They lost 1-0 to Diamonds last week. They're on 49 points in fourth place. Alf Church bringing up fifth position on 28, also on 49 points as well. Kettering's last 6 games, they beat Redditch United 4-1 last week. If you tuned in, thank you very much. We beat Needham Market at home 3-2, Stourbridge away 2-1, Royston at home 1-0. That disappointing defeat against Biggleswade 3-2, and a 2-2 draw away at Colville. So Kettering 2 have only lost 1 game in the last 6. Well, the referee's keeping both teams in the tunnel. Not sure why he's doing that. You can see Kettering playing in all sky blue, the same colour as they were last week against Redditch United, and it's going to be St Ives in black and white stripes, black shorts and black socks when they eventually come out onto the park. Yeah, Ed's getting a bit impatient too. He's on camera duty this afternoon, and don't know why we're taking this time for the teams to come on, but we are. Can't find a linesman, I think, is the problem, and the fans now getting to find their voice in the refreshments area of the main stand. The linesman now has been found, and both teams enter Westwood Road playing surface. Ripple of applause, mainly from Kettering fans, and it's all Kettering fans that I can see out there. A few black and white scarves, but the majority here are Kettering, and more like a home game for Marcus Law's side than an away game. Kettering fans dotted around the rest of the ground as well. Quite a pleasant February afternoon. As I say, it's mild to cool, No rain, overcast. Teams are shaking hands. Referee this afternoon is Sean Berry. Assistant James Wetherall. And the other assistant is Matthew Paul. Just go through Kettering's team for you one more time. Paul White in goal. 12 is Dion Kelly Evans. 19 Craig Stanley. 15 Declan Towers. 14 Marcus Kelly. 7 Lyndon Meikle. 6 Michael Richardson captain. 11 Rhys Honus. 10 Ben Milnes. 8 Aaron O'Connor. 9 Dan Holman. And your subs today are 18 Nathaniel Rowe-Turner, 4 Brett Solkin, 5 Gary Storer, 16 Luke Graham and 20 Adam Cunnington. In the St Ives team today, there are some ex-poppies. Jake Newman is on the bench. We have Ben Baker and Monash Sundaya, who played against Kettering at Latimer Park earlier in the season when St Ives won 3-0, rather surprisingly, at that venture of the season. Also, they have new signing Tom Wood from St Neots in the side, making his debut this afternoon. Referees in the centre circle now. Captain Richards is waiting for Robbie Parker, the opposing captain, to come up to him. They're shaking hands as the Kettering fans find their voice. We can hear them. It is good noise, says Ed Palmer, and it is at the moment good noise. Let's hope that continues. The referee now is just explaining the rules of the game to the to both captains, and it's one knockdown and 2 submissions, isn't it? So he's still explaining everything. Richard shakes hands. Kettering at the moment are going to be kicking from right to left, and it's going to be the home side. Looks like we're going to get proceedings underway. They're kicking from left to right. That is, I say, if you've been to St Ives, both ends are actually open to the elements. Both have trees at the side of them, but it is St Ives ready to kick off. It's going to be Robbie Parker, the captain, who's over the ball. And the referee signalling to goalkeeper Paul White to make sure he's aware, and also to Martin Conway in the St Ives goal. He's looking at his watch for the 4th time, and his other watch, that's his 5th time. He's taking a bit, and eventually we're off. Parker gets the ball back to goalkeeper Conway, who fires it back to Declan Towers, who returns to the Kettering side today. He finds Milnes to Richards. Richards gets it to Kelly Evans on the far side. Kelly Evans squares it to Stanley. Stanley pumps the ball forward towards Marcus Kelly. He's got a bit of room to manoeuvre here, Kelly, on this left-hand side. He's got acres of space, actually. He's got Honus with him, but he runs the ball out of play for the first throw-in of the afternoon. And that is going to take place in a moment. As I say, Kettering playing in sky blue shorts and shirts and white socks. And St Ives in their traditional black and white stripes, black shorts. Throw-in been taken towards Sundaya. Sundaya with Kelly, but won by Richards. Parker gets the ball back, but only towards Stanley in Kettering's half. Stanley takes a touch, pumps the ball forward towards O'Connor. Not going to reach O'Connor. It finds Coulson, but he only gets it to Meikle. Meikle squares it to Kelly Evans. Will do well to keep this in. He can only keep it in. It goes to Ty Ward. He gives the ball to Meikle. Meikle on the far side still has the ball. It goes out for a Kettering Town throw-in just by the halfway line over the far side. Normally where we are on the far side, but not this afternoon. As I say, we're in this lofty position on the far side of the ground. The ball now with Marcus Kelly inside at Kettering's half. He takes a touch, looks up, takes another touch, plays the ball back to Stanley. Stanley pumps the ball forward, takes another touch, squares it. Declan Towers. Towers in the centre of the park, just by the centre circle. Now tries to release Holman, but it's going to reach Jackson. And Jackson's header finds Conway, playing in this sort of fluorescent green, all green goalkeeper uniform. Paul White in his traditional Robin Hood green for Kettering. Lincoln green, I think it's called, is it? Lincoln green, not quite sure, but there we are. It's Conway, rolls the ball in front of him. Pumps it forward, but Kelly Evans should win that. He doesn't. It comes off for St Ives' head, and that goes harmlessly for a goal kick. 0-0 here then, if you've just joined us at the Westwood Road, St Ives. Kettering Town against St Ives, the Saints. You'll listen to Poppy's TV audio. And we'll be bringing you this game, obviously, live here this afternoon. Paul White takes the goal kick. It goes over the halfway line. Simon Dyer's pushed in the back by Ben Mills. It's going to be free kick on the halfway line to the hosts. Robbie Parker walks over to get the ball. He's just inside his own half. Parker's about to address the ball. Everybody's in the Kettering half bar Conway. Parker still barking out instructions. In it comes now. There's Kelly, but he goes straight to Paul White. Comes out over the penalty spot, takes the catch, bowls the ball out to Mills, and Mills is away. Being chased by Seymour Shove. Long ball for O'Connor to chase, but out comes Conway to stop the run by O'Connor. O'Connor took a little knock last week at Redditch, but seems okay this afternoon. Adam Cuddington, who came on for him later, is on the bench. It's a high kick by Conway. It's found at Meikle. Meikle heads the ball onto Holman. Holman, though, is cut out by Wilson. He finds Meikle, though. Meikle now has got Kelly. Kelly got a few yards to run here, got a bit of space. He's got the overlapping Rhys Honus, doesn't use him. Does now, and it comes off the number 2 Jackson for a Kettering throw, and he probably should have given that ball a little earlier to Honus. Taken by Kelly. It's with Stanley. Now it's over to Towers. Towers squares it to Kelly Evans. Back to Towers. A high ball towards O'Connor, pushing the back by Tom Wood. Nothing given by the referee. Headed out by Parker to Ty Ward. Back to Kelly Evans. He's found Munesh Sundaya, who's certainly come on leaps and bounds since he was playing with the Future Lions last season. And it's still in play by the corner flag. They've done well, have St Ives, to keep this in. Ty Ward gets the ball back to Parker. Parker puts the ball in, cut out by Milnes. And that is a throw-in to St Ives, midway in the Kettering half on the far side. 0-0 here at Westwood Road. Very good turnout of Kettering fans. In fact, all you can really see is red and black. Very, very few black and white scarves or shirts or any memorabilia really from St Neots. But it is St Ives with the little Freudian slip there. It is St Ives with the throw-in. It's got to Seymour Shove by the corner flag, but he hasn't beaten Kelly Evans. Kelly Evans gets the ball to Milnes, and it's hoofed out towards O'Connor. And it's going to be Tom Wood to take a throw-in by the halfway line. I wondered how long it would be before I got St Neots and St Ives mixed up, as I generally do at these games. Never have yet got the programme fouled up, though. I put the wrong name on that yet, but there is time for that. Throw in then to St Ives. We'll call them the Saints. Well, St Neots are the Saints as well, aren't they? Can't even get away with that. Declan Towns with the header towards O'Connor. He flicks on, but only goes to the number 4 Sundai. He flicks it on. Stanley's underneath it. He finds Meikle. Meikle chests the ball down the centre circle. Tries to release O'Connor. Doesn't reach O'Connor. It does reach Ty Ward. And he can now get the ball over here to Jackson. But poor ball from Ty Ward. He just hoofs the ball out for a throw-in. Quickly taken by Kelly. Holman back to Kelly, the throw-in taker. Kelly takes a touch. Puts it back to Meikle. Meikle under pressure here. Still Meikle with it. It comes off Ben Baker. And it's a throw-in to Kettering. It's going to be Kelly again with it. Ben Baker, of course, ex-Kettering Town. Quickly taken throw-in. Ben Milnes with it. Long ball towards O'Connor. O'Connor is onside. The referee hasn't put his flag up. O'Connor plays a poor ball towards Holman. I think O'Connor was so surprised he wasn't offside. Should have taken the ball on the first opportunity. Tried to play the ball back to Holman. Did so under pressure, and it was hoofed out by St Ives. Good chance, though, wasted by Kettering. And it's Milnes now trying to pick up the pieces here. He does so. Gets it to Stanley on the halfway line. Stanley turns, plays it square to Declan Towers. Towers puts it back to Richens. Richens slips, gets it back to Towers, back to Stanley. Kettering going backwards rather than forwards at the moment as Stanley advances into the St Neots half. Gets it to O'Connor, who mistraps it, and it finds Mark Coulson, who only found Towers, and Towers heads the ball out for a throw-in. Rather scrappy at the moment. Referee has gone over to the manager of St Ives, having a word with him, with the linesman. Not sure what's going on there. We're too far away to actually hear any verbals that are going on over there. But the referee has had a word with the St Ives manager, who's gone now and stood outside his dugout. When we get back, it will be a throw-in to the home side over the halfway line. It's into Kettering's half now, won by Monash, but he only heads it out for a Kettering throw-in. And nobody in any hurry at the moment to take this. Declan Towers trots over there to get the ball to Kelly Evans. Next week we are at home against Rushall Olympic. That's the final game of February. Rushall's first ever visit to Latimer Park. Good ball through here by Stanley. Finds Holman. Holman loses the ball though, but Meikle intercepts, gets the ball over to Kelly now. Kelly with a bit of space on this left-hand side. Plays it back to Meikle. Meikle. Honus. Meikle does well. He's got a bit of space to run here. So O'Connor in there. Can he find O'Connor? Out comes the goalkeeper. And Martin Conway did well coming out in his 6-yard box just in front of the advancing O'Connor. Good work though from Meikle. But still 0-0. The ball being released rather quickly. It's on the far side to Ben Jackson. Trying to find Monash Sundai. It found Baker. Baker, little flick. Lovely little flick there. And there's going to be a foul. And the referee's let that go. There should have been a foul there on the St Ives player. Referee let advantage go as he took a shot. And Wallace's shot just looped over Paul White for the Saints' first shot on target. Then the St Ives players wanted a free kick after it had gone over the bar. If it had gone in, I don't think they'd have complained, but they can't have it both ways. So Paul White to take the goal kick. Robbie Parker, the captain, still complaining to the referee, but not a lot to do about it now. White gets the game back underway towards Holman. He's been looked after by Wallace, who wins the header. Won by Kelly Evans, but he's fouled at Seymour Shove. And it is a free kick to St Ives, just outside the Kettering centre circle. And Kettering not in the groove just yet. Took them a little while to get going against Redditch last week. And completely different surface though, 4G surface to a grass surface, a heavy grass surface. It's Parker over the ball. Parker towards Jackson, headed out by Towers. Sunday's underneath it, heads it up. Towers should get this away, does. Tom Wood puts it back in. Towers for the third time clears it, only towards Parker, heads it back in. Richards heads it out. Head tennis going on here. Parker gets it again. Stanley calmly places the ball towards Kelly. He sends a long ball down, rather for O'Connor to chase. Can't get there. And Meikle heads the ball out. Rather scrappy period of play at the moment from Kettering. Neither side can take in control of the ball. It's all very much huff and puff. It's a throw in front of us here. Taken towards Ward. Ward and Sundai. Sundai wins the battle with Kelly. Puts a good square ball here. Forward to Coulson. Might try a long way shot. Hits Coulson. Now players want him. Blocked by Richards and cleared by Mills to Holman on the halfway line. He turns, being pressurised. Does well, Holman. Squares the ball towards Meikle. Meikle's got Kelly to overlap if he needs to use it. Puts the ball through to O'Connor. Can't get there. Cut out by Wilson. And Monash Sundai does a cheeky little flick towards Baker. Doesn't come off though. Stanley tries to get the ball forward. It comes off Sundai. Back to Mills though. Kelly Evans on the far side. Taking his time. Puts it back to Mills. Pumps the ball forward to O'Connor to chase. And Tom Wood just clears the ball, putting it out for a Kettering Town throw-in on the far side. 0-0 here. You're listening to Poppy's TV audio. We are taking highlight footage of this game today, so hopefully that will appear on our website a little later. Kelly Evans picks the ball up to Mills. Mills finds Honus. Honus puts the ball to Mills, who then places a through ball that finds Martin Conway and no Kettering Town player. So rather disappointingly for the Kettering fans watching, came to nothing. And there's a good contingent here, as I say, from Kettering. They always travel in numbers, especially when it's this close. I'd say the majority of fans here are Kettering Town fans. Conway gets the game back underway, finds Wood. He finds Mills. It cannons off Ty Ward. Kettering Town throw-in on the far side. Kelly Evans gets the ball back to Towers. Towers squares it to Stanley. Stanley advancing in Kettering's half, up towards the centre circle. Still going. Chips the ball through towards Meikle. Meikle's now got a one-on-one chance here. It's bounced awkwardly for him though. Tries a shot. It cannons off there. And O'Connor picks it up, squares it on the far side now to Kelly Evans. Might try a shot himself. He was a sort of shot come cross, and it came to nothing. Unfortunate for Meikle though, he just couldn't get his foot round the ball to take the initial shot on. And the advent of that was that Kelly Evans was put into a position where he didn't know if to cross the ball or shoot. A combination of both, and it came to nothing. Conway having to go a long way to collect that ball. And placing the ball in the 6-yard box. Getting a few comments from the Kettering fans behind there, all sympathetic of course. Richards wins that header, but Ben Baker intercepts, squares the ball towards Mills. Mills slides through to try to find O'Connor. Can't find O'Connor. Mills wins it back, loses it to Robbie Parker. Parker, he finds Coulson. Coulson plays it to Ben Baker on the far side. It's back with Coulson. Coulson puts the ball forward towards Sundyer. Marshalled by Stanley, and it comes off Mundyer for a Kettering Town throw-in. No real chances to talk about, really. There's been one shot at Paul White and a scrambly effort from Kettering, but neither goalkeeper yet tested. Long way to go in this game. And it is Kelly Evans on the far side, squares it to Declan Towers. Towers gets the ball over to near us here with Marcus Kelly. We've seen quite a bit of the ball in this first half so far. He puts it back to Stanley. Stanley pumping it forward towards Mills. Wilson should win that. He does. He finds Wallace. Wallace puts it high in the air towards Parker. Parker robbed by Meikle. Meikle still going through, and it should be a Kettering Town throw-in as Jackson cut out Meikle, putting the ball out of play. Throw-in taken by Kelly. Back to Holman to Kelly, and again it goes for a throw-in. It's a 1-yard advancement if it was American football, third down. And second down, I've just been told. My American colleague over here tells me. Now it's a third down, I've just been told. So Kelly with the ball to Holman. Holman let the ball run out of play though, and gives away a needless throw-in there. He looked a bit disgusted with himself, I think, there, Holman, and rightly so. And plenty of time to control that ball and get it to O'Connor, but just ran out between his legs. Throw into St Ives. Ty Ward won it, but Kelly wins it back to Holman. Holman back to Kelly. Kelly fouled, and it went out though for a throw-in. Holman thinks it's a foul, but it's in fact a throw-in to St Ives. Throw-in to be taken. It is. Comes towards Sundai, but it's beaten to it by Richards. As I say, Monash Sundai was part of the Future Lions programme, played for the Poppies a little while ago. It is Stourbridge 1, St Neots 0, Stratford 1, Hales Owen 0, Colville 1, Tamworth 0 are the scores that involve Kettering as the ball's back with Paul White. I didn't think that St Neots would surprise anybody at Stourbridge. Kelly Evans trying to get the ball towards O'Connor. O'Connor chests it down, does well, flicks the ball towards Honus, but he's beaten to it. Milnes wins it back for Kettering. Back to O'Connor, he pumps it back to Towers in Kettering's half. It's now back with Stanley. Stanley takes a couple of touches. Plays it back to Towers, still in Kettering's half. Now into the St Ives half to Honus, puts it back to Towers. Still Towers with the ball, finds Honus. Honus turns, now he's going to run at them. Plays the ball to Holman, but Holman's beaten to it by Wallace. Good tackle there, and Stanley wins it. Gets the ball on this wide side here for Kelly. Kelly now with a bit of space to run at the St Ives defence. Doesn't. Gives it to Meikle, who does. He's beaten 2. Beaten the 3rd. It's cannons off St Ives player towards Stanley, who then slices it over the far side, luckily, to Kelly Evans. He tries to feed it through to Honus, but it's cut out by Wood. And away comes St Ives, but only towards Richens. Richens' pass is intercepted by Ben Baker and goes out for a throw-in. Not one of the most exciting games we've seen so far this afternoon, but this season. And Kelly can't get the ball through to O'Connor. It cannons off Colson for a throw-in. Kelly takes it to Milnes. Milnes back to Kelly. Kelly squares it to Meikle. Meikle right footed trying to find Honus in the penalty area, but Baker heads it out for a Kettering Town throw-in with the advancing Kelly Evans behind him. So a corner to the Poppies. Kelly will take this. First corner of the afternoon for the Poppies. Rhys Honus is over it again, but he's leaving it, I think, for Kelly, which is, he's just placing it for Kelly. Honus walks away from the ball. It's in the quadrant. Very rare you see a ball in the quadrant of the in the corner these days, but Kelly's got it placed inside. It's coming in, swinging here. It's headed away by the St Ives defence, only to Holman in the penalty area. Holman squares it towards Meikle. Meikle might try a shot, does, and it comes. Cannons off Jackson, high into the sky and cleared by Parker, and it's found its way back all the way back to Paul White. So White pumping it back towards Holman and Richens. Richens heads it towards O'Connor. O'Connor can't get there though. Wilson can. He only hits it towards Holman. Does a pirouette. He's got 2 around him. Loses the ball though, and Sundai now comes away with the ball, trying to find Baker. It comes off Kelly Evans. Baker might control this, does, but can't control it. It goes for a throw-in. Holman looks like he might have taken a little knock. He's gingerly walking around the centre circle there. Think he'll be okay, but wasn't happy with the tackle. Declan Towers finds Kelly. Kelly again with acres of space on this left-hand side. He's got O'Connor in front of him, and Holman also is there. He's trying to find Holman. Holman's there, header. Offside, but it was a good move from Kelly. Holman got to it. It was well caught by Conway, but the linesman flag went up, so it wouldn't have counted if it had gone in. But a good move for the Poppies, just what we want to see. Unless you're listening in for St Ives, of course, then you won't want to see that. But Conway gets it back underway towards Milnes, who wins it to Meikle. Meikle being challenged by Parker. Still Meikle with it. Does well, flicks the ball through towards O'Connor. It's hit too heavy, and Conway easily comes out to take the ball. As O'Connor bears down, looks on him. 0-0 here at Westwood Road. Otherwise known as the Pro Edge Stadium, but we'll call it Westwood Road. Towers reacts from the goal kick. It is back with Stanley, and the linesman now, after cries from Kettering there of offside, eventually puts his flag up as the St Ives player was going towards it rather belatedly. And Stanley and the St Ives player having a little chat there, bit of sledging between Seymour Shove. All friendly, of course. A few words I did hear there, I won't mention, but I'm sure you can make those up yourself. So it's Paul White with the free kick. Not happy with that, but it finds O'Connor. O'Connor gets it to Milnes. Milnes pumps the ball forward towards Holman, who's fouled. And this is a good position here for Kettering. It's just outside the D of the St Ives penalty area. Holman pushed in the back as he went to head that. Referee saw it straight away, and it gives Kettering Town a very good chance to put Conway under pressure. We have Milnes and Kelly over the ball. That's not 10 yards, I'm a Dutchman. Referee now pacing it out, and I was right, that wasn't 10 yards, more like 6. He's gotten them back. That also doesn't look like 10 yards either, but it's better than it was. And Palmer reckons it's about 9 yards. But No spray here. Referee blows a whistle. It's going to be Kelly over the ball with Milnes. Richards with the long runner, but it's Kelly. Kelly puts one in, and it's tipped over the bar by Conway. I think he could have caught that. It wasn't too desperate, but it was put out for a corner. Good strike by Kelly, and Kettering get their second corner of the afternoon. New ball required. Towers having to retrieve the new ball. It's going to be Milnes to take it on our left-hand side here. A lot of Kettering fans behind the goal in the open. A lot of Kettering fans everywhere, to be honest. Thought about a short one to Honus, but that's not going to happen. Honus comes over. Corner not yet been taken. Up goes Milnes' hand. Comes in now, in swing towards the back post. There's Richards, heads it in, and headed out by Wallace and cleared by St Ives. It was on target. Kelly is going to have to run to get this. He lets it go, and that should be a Kettering Town throw-in, denying Baker any chance of getting that for a throw-in. But a good header by Richards. Normally with Richards they spoon everywhere but goalwards. But that was a good effort. Ball been thrown back by Kelly to Paul White, and he gets it to Towers. To Meikle, back to Towers. Towers takes his time, looks up, pumps the ball forward towards Holman, beaten to it by Wilson. He finds Baker. Baker hooks the ball forward towards Sundyer. Stanley should get that. It comes off Sundyer though, cries of handball, but Stanley does well, wins it back, gets the ball towards Honus. Honus flicks it to O'Connor. O'Connor under pressure, being pulled at, nothing by the referee. He finds Kelly Evans. Kelly Evans to Holman. Holman flicks it to O'Connor. Good work here from Kettering, but then the final move was too heavy. No Kettering player there, and Conway came out to collect the ball. Thought about a quick one, decided not to. Still has the ball in the penalty area, bounces it once, bounces it twice, looks up, rolls it in front of him. O'Connor tries to get him to hurry up. Conway gets the ball out. Towers wins the header from the resulting kick. It finds Parker. Meikle squares the ball though to Kelly. Kelly might use Stanley. He does. Stanley in Kettering's half, midway. He squares it to Towers. Towers on the far side to Kelly Evans. Kelly Evans trying to find Honus. Gets to Honus on the halfway line. Plays it back to Kelly Evans. Back to Declan Towers. Still in Kettering's half. He sprays it wide on this side to Kelly. He does well to keep it in, but has to trap the ball. Not a lot on for him. He's found Stanley. Kettering haven't really gone too far forward. They have now. And it is Meikle who's on side. He's got Kelly behind him. Meikle coming inside now. Plays in O'Connor. O'Connor just outside the penalty area, outside the D. Loses the ball though. Gets the ball back towards Milnes. Milnes back to O'Connor. Back to Milnes. Honus wants it. Milnes tries a shot. Richards tries a shot. And it was a real powder puff affair, really. Easily dealt with by Conway. And nothing to put onto the score sheet so far. Still 0-0. Back underway. Conway's goal kick only finds Kelly Evans. Kelly Evans pumps the ball forward. O'Connor would have been offside if he carried on. He played it back. It's Parker. Meikle's done well here. He's intercepted here. Meikle now has got a bit of space. There's Wilson in front of him. He goes out wide in the penalty area. Wilson sees too much of the ball and gets it out for a throw-in. It looked to be just Meikle's cup of tea, but it was just a bit too wide for him. And it's in fact, it's a corner, not a throw-in. I thought it had gone for a throw-in, but it is a corner. Milnes with it, back post, and Towers somehow, the back post says he was pushed, and the fans behind there said he was pushed. His header went wide of the goal, and the fans saying there should be a penalty, but Towers not happy with it, but nobody else really complained, so we have to let that one go by. Another chance though for the Poppies. If we had a graph, it would see Kettering with the chances. Nothing too spectacular, but certainly had a lot of the ball in this first half. Haven't created anything decisive, but there is still plenty of time to go. Conway with the ball. Stanley gets it back towards Parker. Parker flicks the ball through. Baker tried to run through, but it's cut out by Towers, who rather heavily puts Kelly under pressure. Kelly though composes himself, gets it back to Stanley. Stanley squares it to Towers. Towers Far side to Kelly Evans, back with Towers. Paul White barking out instructions. Towers is trying to find Richards, but the ball goes out of play. Tom Wood allows it to go out for a St Ives throw-in. We're on the newly fantastic, actually, gantry up here. It's colossal. You could get about 17, 18, 19, 20 cameras up here, I would have thought, if you wanted to. It fantastic construction they've put up here, and we're the first to use it, which is super. And we are filming this game. Hopefully we'll get some highlights for you to look at. Not been to nothing much at the moment. Away comes Seymour Shove. He's like one-on-one here with Paul White. Comes over, puts the ball over, and it's a penalty. Paul White has given away a penalty on Seymour Shove. It looked like that he was going to get away with it. The referee wanted to see what was going to happen. The ball went over Paul White. It was going to go out for a throw-in. The referee waited, decided that it was a penalty, and gives St Ives the chance to go 1-0 ahead here at Westwood Road, really against the run of play. It was an opportunist counter-attack from St Ives. It's Parker over the ball. Paul White in goal there, obviously. Referee blows his whistle. Parker steps up to it. In comes Parker, takes it. Paul White goes the right way, but he can't get his hand to the ball, and St Ives take a 1-0 lead through a penalty. And Kettering find themselves behind again. I make that 32 minutes on the clock, and there are some St Ives fans here as that was greeted with a large cheer from the refreshment area. But against the run of play, Kettering have gone a goal behind against St Neots. That's 4 times now, St Neots and Ives. That's 4 times that St Ives have put the ball in Kettering's net without any reply, because it was 3-0 at Latimer Park earlier in the season, and it is 1-0 here so far, with Stourbridge winning 1-0. The connotations of the league do change minute by minute. Paul White then did go the right way. He was only inches away from it, but it was well struck by Robbie Parker and nestled in the back of the net. Sundial wins that from Paul White. Kelly Evans wins it on the far side towards Holman. Holman flicks it back, gets the ball. Sundial might win this one, doesn't. Towers does, flicks it through to Richards. He finds O'Connor to Holman to, now it's Kelly. Kelly with a bit of space here. He's got Meikle with him. Back to Kelly. Still Kelly with the ball. Had to play it back though as Meikle's being squashed out. It might try a long range. It doesn't. Weaves one way. Weaves the other. Puts it through towards Kelly Evans. But once again the linesman flag goes up as Seymour Shove goes down. And looks like we got a head injury. But rather disappointingly for Kettering fans. Kettering are a goal behind, as I say, against the run of play really. It was a counter-attack, a one-on-one with Seymour Shove. Out came Paul White. He got a bit of a nibble on Seymour Shove. Enough for the referee to wait for the advantage to see what happened and then give the penalty, which, as I say, was dispatched by Robbie Parker. So Kettering with it to do once again. Goal behind. Been a goal behind before, of course, that Stourbridge came back to win that one 2-1 in recent weeks. And of course Kettering's time is the 89th, 90th minute. Let's hope we don't have to wait till then to get something out of this game. Seymour Shove is still down and being attended to by the sports therapist. In fact, St Ives have never beaten the Poppies here at Westwood Road, and in fact lost 7-0 a couple of seasons ago, so they'll be champing at the bit to get this result under their belts. Remember also they were 3-0 up against Kettering and lost 4-3 as well, so it is all for them to do. Scores are it's still Stourbridge 1, St Neots 0, Stratford 1, Hales Owen 0, still Colville 1, Tamworth 0, Kingsland 1, Redditch 0, and AFC Diamonds 1, Leiston 0. So all results going with the teams at the top at the moment, except Kettering, who are losing this game here at Westwood Road 1-0. Back underway, it is Declan Towers finds Stanley. Stanley advances over into the centre circle. puts it on the far side to Kelly Evans. He beats Seymour Shuff to the ball and then loses it, and it is won back by Kettering, but given away again. Parker does well. Still Parker with the ball, flicks it through to Milnes. Milnes finds Richards to Meikle. Meikle finds Kelly Evans on the far side. Very tight on that line. Back to Milnes. He squares it to Stanley in the centre circle. Stanley with a bit of yardage to go here. Finds Holman. Holman plays it back though to Stanley. No improvement there for Kettering. Still Stanley with the ball. Takes a double touch. Looking what to do with the ball. Plays it to Milnes. Milnes then plays it back to Towers. Kettering with a lot of possession, but not doing a lot with it. It's back with Stanley from Towers. Kettering still in their own half. It's now into the St Ives half. Flicked on to Holman. Holman's away here. He's got Honus with him. Honus, what can he do? Not a lot. Loses the ball, and Parker comes away with it when a chance looked begging. But out comes Paul White to deal with this. He does, and doesn't deal with it too well, actually. He just hoofs the ball out of play and gives St Ives a chance to put Kettering under more pressure. Well, I say under more pressure. They've not really created too much pressure for Kettering. They've taken one chance that resulted in a penalty. And Marcus Love's come out the dugout. Throw-in has been taken towards Sunday, beaten to it by Kelly Evans, hooked away by Richards to Holman. Holman heads it back and straight back to Ty Ward though. And then Richards brings Ward down for a free kick midway on the far side of this half. 36 minutes of this first half gone. Kettering Town losing 1-0. That goal was scored on the 32nd minute, a penalty. And that came against the run of play really, but St Ives will take that. Taking the time with this free kick. St Ives this season is going to be a bit of a bogey side to Kettering. As I say, they won 3-0 at Latimer Park early December and were worthy winners on that evening. Free kick taken. Paul White is there. Towers wins the header. Kelly clears the ball towards O'Connor. O'Connor chests it down under pressure. Squares it to Milnes. Milnes hits his knee though. Robbed by Seymour Shove. Rather unluckily there by Milnes. Seymour Shove now on the far side. He's got Kelly Evans in front of him. Seymour Shove and Kelly Evans going at it. It should be Kelly Evans wins that. Does. Goes out for throw-in. This is by the corner flag on the far side. Referee telling him to get on with it. It's taken from a different place, so it's now going to be taken from the correct place. Towards Ben Baker. Ben Baker puts the ball back to Seymour Shove. Seymour Shove beats Milnes. Floats the ball over, only for Kelly to mop up and clear, but it goes straight to Parker. It comes off his chest, and it's headed by Kelly Evans back to Paul White. Paul White bowls the ball out to Kelly. Kelly back to Stanley. The pitch didn't help him there. Stanley finds Holman. Holman turns. Still Holman with it. Plays the ball back to Kelly. Kelly. He squares it to Declan Towers. Towers into the St Ives half. Still with the ball. Plays it forward towards Honus. Honus now can turn, he can run. He's got Kelly Evans overlapping. Plays it to Kelly Evans, who's on side, puts the ball in towards Holman. Cleared though by Wallace. And Seymour Shove can't get there. Richards can. He heads the ball back to Stanley. Stanley back in the Kettering half. Pumps the ball forward towards Milnes. Honus wants it, hasn't got it. Feeds it to O'Connor. And a poor ball by O'Connor gives the ball straight away to Seymour Shove. And Stanley has to head the ball delicately to Paul White, who comes right out of the penalty area. O'Connor seems to be misfooting everything this afternoon, slightly, but hopefully his time will come. Honus with the ball from the kick by Paul White to Kelly Evans on the far side. Back to Honus. Honus now inside the St Ives half. Plays it on the wing to Kelly Evans. Kelly Evans back to Honus. Very tight here from Kettering, trying to find Meikle, who swaps sides at the moment. Meikle does a very good pirouette and turn, feeds the ball through to Honus. Out comes the goalkeeper, and it is cleared by Robbie Parker for a throw-in as Honus went down. Don't think he was looking for a penalty on that occasion. Good tackle from the number 3 there, and the throw-in's been taken. Meikle. Still, Meikle puts a heavy ball over, and it comes to nothing, goes out for a goal kick. Kettering not at the races yet. The races are back on, of course, after that flu epidemic, but it certainly hasn't helped Kettering here this afternoon. Ailing at the moment 1-0. That goal scored on 32 minutes from a penalty spot. And Kettering find themselves behind in a game they can dearly afford to lose. And there we are. So it isn't pleasant reading if you're or listening if you're there. It's the 10th penalty this season that Kettering have conceded this season. Martin Conway then gets the game back underway towards Seymour Shove, beaten to it by Kelly Evans, who can only head the ball out. Throw in inside the St Ives half. Branched a few yards there, is now in Kettering's half. And foul there by Declan Towers on Monash Sundar on the far side from the throw-in. That he was pushing him down on the shoulders is the referee's description from this range. And elbows, so a chance here for Seymour Shove and Ty Ward to conjure up another move for the home side, who are leading this contest 1-0. Hasn't been a classic by any stretch of the imagination yet. Seymour Shove with the free kick, comes in. Paul White down at his feet. That could have been a nasty bounce. He does well, catches that, and comes out to the penalty spot, rolls the ball out to Kelly. Kelly has Meikle in front of him. He has Stanley at the side of him, but he's still Kelly at the moment in this right left back position. Plays it back to Milnes. He plays it to Stanley. Stanley bumps the ball forward towards O'Connor. O'Connor can't get there. He has done though. He's done well. He's onside. Plays it back to Meikle. Meikle turns, does well, might try a shot, can't. Still Meikle with it, plays it square towards Richards. Richards comes inside, tries a shot, cannons off a St Ives player, only towards O'Connor. O'Connor by the penalty area puts the ball in. It comes off the number 8 Parker, and somehow they luckily clear the ball away, only to be caught by Towers on the halfway line. He feeds Holman, but it's back with Towers. Towers squares it to Stanley. Stanley with a few yards of space. He finds Honus. Honus in the centre of the park being harassed by 2 St Ives players. He finds Stanley. Stanley on the wing now. Bit of nosebleed time for Stanley. He finds Meikle. Meikle chips it forward towards O'Connor. O'Connor's offside. Flag goes up once again. And it's a phrase we've used quite often in seasons. O'Connor's offside again. And he is on this occasion. Not long till half time. Shouldn't be too much added time on. There's only been one injury. So we'll have to wait and see on that. Conway gets the ball underway. It is Kelly Evans who has won the ball. It finds Stanley. Stanley heads it towards Kelly. Kelly, nobody with him at the moment. He's got Baker in front of him. Comes inside Baker, puts it towards Meikle. Meikle in the centre circle, finds Richards. Richards squares it to Towers. Towers advancing into the St Ives half, feeds through O'Connor. This time O'Connor is onside. O'Connor fires one in, and anything on target, he just scored, and he blams it over. And that was a real good chance for an Aaron O'Connor on form. Normally bread and butter stuff for Azza, but not on that occasion. I generally thought that was going to bulge the net, a net bulger, but it only hit the stanchion behind and the squirrel that fell off in the process. Would have been an ideal time to get the equaliser just before half-time as Conway gets the ball into play. Finds Richards. Richards, can he find Parker? Parker towards Ty Ward. Ty Ward chests it down, does well, but gives the ball away to Stanley. He flicks the ball wide for Kelly. Kelly has to play the ball back. Does so, still with the ball in Kettering's half. Still advancing forward is Kelly. Squares it to Meikle. Meikle. Still Meikle. Squares it to Towers. Towers in Kettering's half. Urging players to go forward. But plays it back to Meikle where the ball was. A lot of shouting going on, but no movement. And now Stanley has the ball. He's got a few yards here to use. Flicks the ball through it. Cut out easy by Ty Ward. It's found Stanley again. He's trying to find Ben Mills. He's hit too heavily. And he goes out for a goal kick. Kettering just can't find the correct pace and the correct feet at the moment. Had a couple of chances. O'Connor's being perhaps the best of those chances. You would normally put money on O'Connor hitting the target from that, but on this occasion it didn't. And that was perhaps Kettering's best chance of the first half so far. Limited chances. I say we are filming it, so we've got about 1 minute of highlights at the moment, I would have thought. But it is going straight out of play from the goal kick. Kelly Evans with it, gets on with it quickly towards Towers. Half time is bearing down on us. Stanley with the ball. Finds Holman, back with Stanley. Stanley trying to find Meikle, but it's won by Wilson. He gets the ball back though only towards Holman. That's cut out by Sundar, but it ricochets to Honus. Honus with the ball, flicks it through towards Holman, beaten to it by Sundar, but it finds Kelly Evans. Kelly Evans to Honus on the wing here. Puts the ball in, cut out though by Mark Coulson. And that goes out for a throw, and Kettering will have time to take this just before half time. Taken quicker towards Holman. Holman, not a lot on for him though. Flicks the ball through towards Honus. Cut out by Coulson. Won by Richards. And Kelly Evans allowed to leave that. Cut out again by Coulson. Kettering just can't find the final phase of this game at the moment. Meikle from the throw-in turns one way, turns the other. Still Meikle with the ball. Puts it forward towards O'Connor. And yes, the phrase, O'Connor's offside. Once again as the flag goes up, and nothing doing for Marcus Law's men at the moment. Disappointing losing this game 1-0. I make it that we're into added time as the ball's found its way back to Paul White. He rolls it to Stanley. Referee looks at his watch, and he's going to blow any moment now. Kelly Evans on the far side. Will they get a chance to have one more attempt at target? Towers trying to find Kelly. Kelly chests it down, but not into the half yet of St Ives. Holman flicks it back to Stanley. Stanley goes forward. Not a lot on for him. Has seen Honus on the far side. Good call from Honus. He gets the ball. Bit of space here for Honus. If he can get by Seymour Shove. He can't. And hoofed away by Coulson, which will be a throw-in by the halfway line. Quickly taken by Towers. Referee has a cursory glance again at his watch. Stanley. Still Stanley. Gives the ball straight away to Wilson. That's poor from Stanley. Good tackle there by Richards. It was going to be a foul, but the referee's allowed advantage, and Parker breaks away for St Ives. Flicks the ball through towards Ben Baker. Kelly has to come across, and he cuts out the ball. Allows it to go for a goal kick. Baker looks quite sprightly, the former Kettering protege, who's went to Banbury United from Kettering and then joined St Ives beginning of the season. From the goal kick, it's found Kelly Evans on the far side. He's found Milnes, but a poor ball there from Milnes, headed by Coulson. Back into the mix, it's found Ward. Ward trying to get away, but Towers having to play the ball. Does well, Towers. If it had slipped there, then St Ives were through. He turns well, flicks it to Kelly Evans. He finds Honus, back 1-2 with Kelly Evans. Nice triangles from Kettering, but nothing really to talk about at the moment. O'Connor bundled off the ball. Wants the foul, nothing given, and that was a blatant foul there on O'Connor, but nothing given this time. And the referee now is going to have a word with O'Connor. I'm going to book him. Well, O'Connor's talked himself into the book. Yep. Referee Seems to have been very much the home side at the moment, but I would say that being a Kettering Town biased reporter. This has given everything to St Ives. Even the penalty was not a soft one, but we've seen them not been given. I don't think it's going to go into the book, actually. He's having a word with O'Connor. When we get back underway, it will be Paul White with a goal kick if he's got time to take it. So Paul White taking his time. Referee, I think, will just allow this to go. And no, he's got it towards O'Connor. O'Connor beaten to it. It's found Ty Ward trying to release Seymour Shove, but marshalled out by Towers, and that'll be another goal kick to the Poppers. Referee again looks at his watch. I make it that we have 2 minutes left now. It's been signalled 2 minutes to go before this half closes. Not one that Kettering fans will be too pleased about, and a lot to do in this second half if they're going to come away with anything here. Stanley has to win the ball from Ben Baker. Ben Baker does snatch the ball off Stanley, and it goes for a St Ives throw-in. Baker allows it to come off Stanley. It's going to be Ben Jackson trotting down there to take this, taking his time as wants to run out the first half. Marcus Law with a bit of talking to do at half-time to revitalise this Kettering Town side. Cunnington maybe coming on, I would have thought, to give another option, because at the moment nothing happens. And there goes the half-time whistle from that throw-in. And if you're listening in from Kettering, it's disappointing, as it is St Ives Town 1, Kettering Town 0. That goal scored on the 32nd minute, a penalty by Robbie Parker after Paul White got a little nibble on Seymour Shove. The referee allowed for the advantage. Seymour Shove didn't get the ball in the net, and he pulled the game back, and Robbie Parker dispatched the penalty, even though Paul White went the right way. So Marcus Law with an important team talk in this second half. Kettering not really been at the races. They are not showing a shadow of the form they showed last week at Redditch United or against Needham Market. Needs to be a vast improvement in the second half, or it could be tears in February, at the beginning of February so far. I'm going to take a break now for around 10-15 minutes. Be back with you in the second half for full coverage of the Kettering Town versus St Ives here at Westwood Park. Welcome back to Westwood Road, St Ives, as the teams make their way onto the pitch. Kettering Town coming out first, losing this game at the moment by 1-0. If you just joined us, that was scored by Robbie Parker from the penalty spot on 32 minutes. Really the only chance of the first half from either side, really. O'Connor had a shot for Kettering that blazed over the bar, but I can tell you straight away that Kettering are making a substitution on 45 minutes. Adam Cunnington is replacing Ben Milnes, so he will come on for his first action of the afternoon in a few moments. Kettering Town then line up like this: Paul White in goal, Kelly Evans is 12, Craig Stanley 19, 15 Declan Towers, 14 Marcus Kelly, 7 Lyndon Meikle, 6 Michael Richards, 11 Rhys Honus, 8 Aaron O'Connor, 9 Dan Holman and 20 Adam Cunnington. So that is Kettering's lineup. Referee and officials just come out. Marcus Law talking to Cunnington. The towering Cunnington needs to get onto some of these headers and direct them towards Martin Conway, who's had very little to do in the St Ives goalmouth, really. A couple of catches and a couple of back passes, but nothing to talk about. In fact, Paul White, all he's had to do really is pick the ball out of the net from the penalty. Again, hasn't been a lot of action. We are filming this here at St Ives. I think we've got about 2 minutes of highlights from the first 45. I'm not quite sure. Richard Atkinson will be looking at that later on. Lucky him. But that will be done later. We will hope to be speaking to Marcus Law later after the game. That again also will appear on our website hopefully later tonight or tomorrow. But we're about to get underway. Kettering now kicking from left to right. And Dan Holman is over the ball. Needs to be a vast improvement from the Poppies in this second half if they're going to get anything out of this game, especially with the way results are going with the teams behind them. But they can't worry about that. They just got to worry about their own game, get that one in order, and the rest will fall into play whatever happens. And we're away. Holman gets the ball back to Stanley. Stanley pumps the ball forward towards Cunnington, but is cut out by Tom Wood. He finds Jackson on the far side. Jackson then just releases the ball towards Kelly. He finds Stanley. Stanley squares it to Towers, midway in Kettering's half now. Out to Kelly Evans, and under a bit of pressure there from Seymour's shove, but he gets the ball back to Towers. It's back where it was. Stanley trying to find Cunnington. He flicks the ball on, and it's cut out by Tom Wood, who's making his debut from St Neots this afternoon, joined in midweek for St Ives. And the lights flicker on here at Westwood Road, and the ball flicked on towards O'Connor. Will do well to keep this in, and he won't be able to keep that as the ground dips down that part of the ground. That should be a goal kick, which it is. Martin Conway with it. Good following here from Kettering. We'll bring in the attendance, of course, when we can. Conway addressing the ball. It's down in his 6-yard box. Delivered towards Colson. Colson wins it towards Sundar. Sundar wins the ball in over the halfway line, being pressurised, puts the ball back to Jackson. He finds Wood. Wood to Parker, misses the header towards Stanley. Stanley gets the ball to Kettering, flicks it out wide for Kelly on the far side. Now Kelly has to turn backwards. Gives it to Stanley. Stanley, Cunnington wants it. It's going towards Cunnington. Cunnington heads the ball backwards though, and that finds Ben Baker. Ben Baker chests it down, robbed by Holman. Holman to Kelly. Kelly back to Stanley. Stanley plays it square to Declan Towers. Towers with a bit of room finds Kelly Evans. Kelly Evans to Honus. Honus. Still Honus. Has to play the ball back to Towers. Towers fires one in towards Cunnington. Cunnington heads the ball on towards Meikle, but luckily for Ben Jackson, it came off Meikle's thigh to him. He's given the ball away though to Stanley. Stanley Finding Kelly Evans, if he can keep this in. He can. Good work there from Kelly Evans. Now, Kelly Evans has got Honus on his right-hand side. Might feed him, uses him. He does. Honus with a bit of work here, down by the byline. Puts the ball in towards the back post. There's Cunnington. Misses it. Meikle's got the ball. Can he try a shot? He can't. Still Meikle with it. Blocked. Meikle fires one in. Still blocked. Holman parries it for Richards. Tries a wide shot, and that goes wide of Conway. Kettering couldn't really get the sight right for that. And it was a loose shot from Michael Richards in the end that hit the barriers that they put up here at Westwood Road. If you've been, it was all open to elements last season, but not now. Conway with the goal kick on his favoured side, and that should go straight out of play, and does. A rather poor kick from Conway, to the delight of the Kettering fans who've moved behind his goal. Throw in taken quickly by Kelly Evans. Stanley finds Holman. Holman back to Stanley. Pumps the ball forward towards Cunnington. Cunnington wins the header, but no one can lash onto it. Cleared by Coulson. Only towards Richards. He loses the ball though. Seymour Shove gets the ball towards... and Towers is the judge to have fouled Seymour Shove. Goes down like a dose of salts. And the referee falls for this every time, I'm afraid. In fact, it should be a free kick the other way, in my opinion, for what that's worth. But the result of this, it's a free kick. Free kick to St Ives, with Parker, the captain, the goal scorer, over the ball. Every time Kettering go for a header, he gives a free kick to St Ives, it seems to be. So it gives Adam Cunnington a little chance of doing anything. But it is Parker. High ball towards Towers and Sunday. Towers wins it. Holman gets the ball away, but it's won by the number 7 Wallace. Towers gets the ball, plays it to Paul White. White traps it, takes his time, thought about it, and now rolls the ball out to Stanley on the far side. Stanley with a few yards to run at if he wants to. He's got Meikle with him. He uses Meikle. Meikle comes inside over the halfway line. Puts the ball forward towards O'Connor. The head on by O'Connor for the goalkeeper's come out though, and rather clumsily hoofs the ball out. There was no Kettering player going for it though, only Cunnington, and it's gone out for a throw-in. It's Meikle with it to Holman on the far side, and Holman's pass back to Kelly, who's in the wrong place, goes out for a throw-in. Again, things not working well for the Poppies at the moment. Richard Lavery out there encouraging the lads to get their act together. Marcus Law is out of his dugout as well. Throw-in comes in towards Sunday, but it comes off Cunnington. Cleared by Wallace. Towers gets it back into the half. Richards underneath this one. Gets it to Holman. Holman squares it to Kelly. I'll do want to keep this in. He does keep it in towards Cunnington. Flicks on. It is Wallace, though, puts it out for a throw-in. And Kettering pressing forward. It's O'Connor with the throw-in. Throws it to Stanley, who's advanced into the St Ives half. Plays it back to Towers. Towers in the centre circle. Over the halfway line now. Plays it square to Richards. Richards plays it wide now for Kelly Evans, who's moved forward. Good work there from Kelly Evans. Can he get one in? Plays it towards Honus. Honus inside the penalty area. Goes one way, goes the other. Flicks it through to Holman. Holman, a little flick there to Meikle. Meikle goes in there. Can't get a shot in, though, and cleared by St Ives. If he got a shot in, that was a goal all the way. Good movement from Kettering. That's what we want to see. It's pummeled back in to Towers. Cunnington can't get it. And Wallace is going to let this ball go out. It comes off Meikle, though, unluckily for Kettering. And a throw-in to St Ives. Well, we just heard, that's why there's a bit of a pregnant pause there. If we heard this correctly, the attendance is 639. It looks like 300 too many to me, but it certainly is. Yeah, it's very surprising. 639 here at Westwood Road. It is 1-0 to the home side, and in fact that's their best attendance against Kettering. Holman won that ball, gets it to Honus. Honus being challenged, he's got Kelly Evans with him. Kelly Evans flicks the ball forward towards Holman, can't win it. Towers has to retrieve the ball, he does so. Squares it to Stanley. Stanley in the centre of the park. Pumps the ball forward towards Cunnington. Cunnington flicks it on towards Kelly. Goes down. Flag goes up though. Should be a penalty, but it's offside. Kettering fans hadn't seen the flag. There was a foul on Meikle. And Richens has looks like he's been talked himself into booking, and has. This controversial referee has booked Michael Richens for verbals, I would have thought, and he goes into the book. Referee Sean, he's has to go over again, obviously forgotten what his name was. Very, very poor officiating here by Sean Barry, but he's in the book, and rather harshly, if that is the case. When the game gets back underway, it will be a free kick to be taken by Martin Conway. Conway delivers the ball. There's Stanley wins it. He's going to go towards Coulson. He doesn't win the ball. Honus does. Honus has got O'Connor one side of him. Feeds the ball through to O'Connor. O'Connor shoots. 1-0! Yes! Back in it. Super strike from O'Connor. And he's made amends for that miss. Beautiful goal from Aaron O'Connor. 1-1. Kettering back in it. And you'll be able to see that one on our highlights as we are filming the game for you today. Just about, I've been told, so but you will see it. So 1-1. Great goal there from Aaron O'Connor. And he'll be pleased with that. A very, very good finish. Drilled by Martin Conway. And Kettering now back on level terms. Just what we want to see. And that is O'Connor's 8th league goal of the season and 9th overall. Back underway. Stanley gets the ball towards Cunnington. Cunnington loses the ball to Parker. Parker feeds Coulson. Coulson trying to get shove underway. Seymour shove. He can't. The ball goes out for a throw-in. Kettering have never lost at Westwood Road. And at the moment they're drawing 1-1. Super goal, I must say, from Aaron O'Connor. Right in line with it here, and hit it first time, drilled it lovely. Great pass from Honus. Just what Kettering need. Holman wins the ball towards Cunnington. Cunnington heads it back to Meikle. Meikle looks up. Still Meikle with the ball to O'Connor. Still Meikle leads out Kelly on the wide side. Kelly has to come inside. Under pressure, he's got two round him. Still Kelly being pressurised by Jackson. Plays the ball back to Stanley. Stanley, long ball towards Cunnington. And there's Kelly Evans behind him. There's Cunnington. Cunnington goes down. That should be something. Nothing given by the referee. Cunnington was hauled down there. But once again, referee denies Kettering. Baker gets it back for St Ives. Intercepted by Meikle. Meikle beats Seymour Shove. Lovely work there from Meikle to Honus. Honus has got Seymour Shove behind him. He's got Kelly Evans on one side of him. He's going to release Kelly Evans. He does do. Here comes Kelly Evans. Ball comes over. He hits it too heavy. Honus goes down, fouled in the penalty area, and nothing given. Again, the Kettering fans and players going ballistic at the linesman, and the referee having none of it. Marcus Law did say that the referees have looked at Kettering's play in their seminars. Marcus Law's out there having a shout at the referee, and nothing going Kettering's way regarding decisions in the penalty area at the moment. Certainly a call for it there, but the game livening up now. This is what we want to see in Kettering's favour. It's a throw-in to the home side. Meikle has won that. Parker wins the ball back. He gets it to Coulson, but he only hooks the ball to Stanley. Stanley turns, plays the ball back to Paul White. Paul White needs to deal with this sensibly, otherwise he's in trouble. Paul White doesn't deal with it, and then is fouled in the process and goes down. That Seymour Shove has fouled Paul White. Now this could be a red, and we'll soon see what it is. It's a yellow. Paul White goes down, but as Paul White was trying to clear the ball there, Seymour Shove let him have one, and he went down there. I would have gone for the other colour myself, but a yellow it is to be, and Paul White is okay. He's up with the ball. So the second half certainly livened up from the first half, which was quite a dull affair other than the penalty for St Ives. Paul White puts the ball out towards Kelly Evans on this right-hand side. Kelly Evans with a bit of space to manoeuvre the ball if he wants to. Gives it to O'Connor. O'Connor flicks the ball through, trying to get it to Honus, but it doesn't work there. Tom Wood heads the ball back to Conway. Conway chests it down, picks the ball up as Honus goes to close him down. 1-1 here at Westwood Road if you've just joined us. Kettering went a goal behind in the first half through Robbie Parker. Got back into the game in the second half with a beautiful Aaron O'Connor goal. 1-1. You're listening to Poppy's TV audio. Ball back with Kelly, who's ran with the ball for quite a few yards. He squares it to Holman up front. Holman can't control it. Being tackled by Ty Ward, but he wins off Ty Ward, and Ward kicks the ball out. Good work there from Holman. Ball back with Kelly to Meikle from the throw-in. Meikle punts it forward towards Cunnington, headed out by Tom Wood. It's found Son Dyer. He's going to release Seymour Shove, which he does. Comes off Declan Towers. Run luckily for Seymour Shove. The ball back with Paul White. And Paul White thought about trying to give it to Kelly Evans. Gives it to Towers instead. And Towers puts a long ball over to Kelly on the far side. Kelly trying to find O'Connor, but easily won there by Jarvis, who handles the ball. Nothing given by the referee once again, to the derisement of the Kettering fans. It is Richards. He's got Kelly Evans on the loop here. Kelly Evans going to put a ball in. He does. Not a very good one. And it's Cunnington. Cunnington's shot comes off Tom Wood and surprisingly goes for a corner. The Kettering fans and players call for it. St Ives not happy with that one, but it is a corner to Kettering, the first one in this second half. Kelly and Honus over it. It's been placed down for Kelly. Honus leaves it for Kelly. They're not going to play a short one, I don't think. Kelly does the normal signal. In it comes, in swinging corner, back post. There is Towers, and that is caught on the line by Conway. Any direction on that, and it could have been a goal. Poor throw out from Conway, finds Meikle. Meikle is away here, but loses the ball. Seymour Shove gets it towards Baker. Baker beaten to it by Kelly Evans, and it is a handball allegedly by Kelly Evans. And it's going to be a free kick on the far side in front of the St Ives dugout. Lights on here, twinkling away. As we're in our lofty position here at St Ives. We're the first media team to use this fantastic gantry. I have to say, it's brilliant. It really is superb. Once I get a roof on it and a bar, it'll be even better. But it is a free kick anyway to St Ives on the far side. It is Parker with it. Puts the ball into penalty area. There is Stanley. It is beaten by Wallace and goes off Kelly for... there's some locals behind us outside the ground shouting as they go by. But Ben Jackson with the throw-in. Jackson towards Wallace. Cleared by Stanley towards Cunnington. Cunnington heads on it. Comes off Parker. Finds O'Connor. O'Connor flicks the ball on to Sundyer, and that goes for a Kettering Town throw-in. Cunnington told to go back with the ball. Kelly retrieves it. Quickly taken by Kelly to Meikle. Meikle under pressure by Ben Baker. Back with Kelly. Kelly back to Meikle. Meikle puts a long ball in towards Kelly Evans, who's got plenty of space on this right-hand side. Floats one into the back post towards Cunnington. Cunnington, there's Cunnington. It comes off the number 7. It heads down there. And Holman... well, that was an interesting one. Cunnington tried a flick. He flicked it on to Tom Wood. And the ball bounced in front of Holman. Holman couldn't get his outstretched leg to it and somehow Conway caught the ball before Holman could adjust himself to get the ball in. Half chance there for Kettering. Again, no luck on the Poppies' side. And from the goal kick, Towers has allowed that to go out for a Kettering throw-in. It's back with Stanley. Stanley on the penalty area for Kettering. Gives the ball to Kelly Evans. Kelly Evans with a few yards to run. We know what pace he's got. He's over the halfway line. He's got Honus one side of him. He's got O'Connor the other side of him. He's going inside. Puts the ball out wide now to Honus. Honus comes inside the penalty area. Goes in. Here's Reese Honus down the byline. Cut out, and it is a corner for the Poppies by come off Sundyer, who's had a very good game again, is Monash Sundyer for St Ives. It's going to be a corner. Kelly going to take this. Kelly down, putting the ball in the quadrant. Vast amount of Kettering fans behind the goal mouth there. In comes Kelly, in swinging corner towards Cunnington. Cunnington heads it and heads over the bar. That's just gone over. No power or direction in that, and it remains 1-1. But certainly in the second half, Kettering have upped their ante a little bit and look the more likely side to go further ahead. Hope that's not commentator's curse, but we shall wait and see. Conway then with the goal kick, taking his time with it, delivers it, goes towards Stanley, who should win this. Baker is in front of him. Stanley to win it towards Meikle. Meikle flicks the ball on towards O'Connor. O'Connor onside. Plays the ball back wide to Meikle. Meikle on the byline. Puts the ball forward towards O'Connor. O'Connor might get this. Does put the ball forward here. It goes open there. And Cunnington is brought down. And the referee might give something this time. I'm not sure. The linesman was flagging. And he has given a penalty to Kettering. Now that was a foul off the ball. And the linesman flagged as Cunnington went down. And it looks like that he's given a penalty. Not sure on this. He's now going over to have a word with the linesman. Drama here at Westwood Road. Kettering went behind for a penalty. And now Holman's got the ball in his hand because he missed the last penalty that he took, Dan Holman. So let's hope that doesn't come into the equation. The St Ives players, led by Parker, the captain, having a go at the linesman. The referee is down there. Tom Wood is down there, mouthing off as well. I'm surprised not one of these has found themselves into the book. Wood, in fact, is going into the referee's book for dissent or the foul. But Tom Wood joins Seymour Shove. That is 2-1 on fouls. And indeed, it's going to be Dan Holman who's going to take this penalty. As I say, don't want to be a stick in the mud here, but he missed the last one that he took, and we don't want that. This is Kettering's 20th awarded penalty of the season, and they have scored 15 of those penalties. Holman steps up, fires, and misses. Once again, Holman has put it wide. Good save by Conway. Wasn't hit with enough power. Parried away for a corner, and that is 5 penalties missed of the 20s now, and that is Holman's second of the season. Just what we don't want to see, but it's a Kettering corner. Kelly, back post. Here's a brilliant save. Oh, off the line. Well, a missed penalty. There was Cunnington who headed the ball into the goal mouth, denied by a brilliant save on the line by the goalkeeper. There was O'Connor coming in to tap it into an empty net. It was blocked on the line again. Kettering can't get the ball in the net. Here's Holman. He's inside the penalty and cleared by St Ives. Paul White coming out to get this. What a second half this is. We've had everything here at the moment except another goal for Kettering. Kettering under 20 minutes to go of this second half. Ball towards Cunnington. Flicks on towards Holman. Holman's got Colton. Here's Holman. Can't win the ball, flicked it on, and it finds Honus on this wing here. Honus comes inside the penalty area now. Here comes Honus. Can he do anything with it? Goes one side, goes to flick the ball through. Great goal! Oh my word! What a goal from Honus! 2-1. Absolutely brilliant work from Honus. Wow! Well, after all that pressure, a missed penalty, one off the line from the Cunnington header, a block shot on the line from O'Connor. The ball was put wide out there. You thought all the way that Honus was going to weave in and out and cross the ball. He hit it instead. It went into the roof of the net. 2-1. Never count Kettering Town out of a game. And they've turned this around in this second half, putting in one of their usual performances when they are under the hammer a little bit. And the outcome of that is that St Ives are going to make a substitution. But that was a superb goal, and again you'll be able to see that on our highlights as we are filming today's game. We've been given permission by St Ives to do that, which we thank them for, and both Kettering goals very good indeed. I can't see who's coming on or off as we've got no disco. Oh yes, we have, but St Ives are going to make a substitution. And it is Ty Ward that is coming off for them, and it is number 16 Andrew Osai Bonsu is coming on. So that is Ty Ward hasn't done a great deal for St Ives today. His game is over. Well, that was exciting, wasn't it? Missed penalty, one off the line from a Cunnington header, a block on the line by Tom Wood, ball hooked out for a corner. From that corner, Honus gets the ball, weaves his way through the penalty area, weaves his way by the bar and drills the ball high into the net. It's never dull watching Kettering Town, is it? Play back underway, back with Conway. I always say Conroy, I don't know why. We had a goalkeeper called Nick Conroy, I think. But Ben Baker pumps the ball forward towards Bonsu, who's just come on. He's beaten to it by Stanley, puts the ball out only towards Baker. Baker puts the ball in. Here's Bonsai to shove. Ball goes out of play, but he's then hooked away for a Kettering Town throw-in. And Kettering calming this down after all that excitement. We are so high in this country. I did see myself almost falling off if when that goal went in. That would have been a sight to see, wouldn't it? But it's a throw-in to Kettering. Kelly Evans to Declan Towers. Towers, long ball down towards O'Connor. O'Connor heads the ball to Meikle. Meikle squares it to Kelly. Kelly. Long ball towards Cunnington. Cunnington wins the flick towards O'Connor. O'Connor turns inside the penalty area, but Jackson just fires the ball into orbit, and Baker makes sure it goes out by chesting the ball out for a throw-in, getting the cries of Kettering reject. And we have some scores here. It's AFC Rouge and Diamonds 1, Leiston 1, Alfchurch 2, Biggleswade 0, Colville 1, Tamworth 0, Kings Lynn 1, Redditch 0, Needham Market 0, Royston 2, Stourbridge 1, St Neots 0, and Stratford 1, Hales 0-1. It's going to be a throw-in to St Ives on the far side, although Honus says it should be his ball, but it's not. It's the substitute, Osai Bonsu, who is going to take this. Gets it to Parker. Parker finds the substitute once again, but Baker falls over and the ball goes out of play for a Kettering Town throw-in. Marcus Law is leaning up against one of the floodlights at the moment. I thought he dropped off. How can you drop off on a game like this? Kettering making this very exciting indeed. Ball back with Stanley. He pumps the ball forward towards O'Connor and Cunnington. Cunnington wins it, but so does Jackson. Pumps the ball wide out to Meikle. Meikle comes inside. Still Meikle with the ball. Puts a long ball over for Kelly Evans. He won't be able to catch that, and that will be a throw-in to St Ives down here on our right-hand side. It's Mark Colson with the throw-in. He's got Sundyer in front of him. He uses Sundyer, who turns, does a little flick. Still does well, Sundyer. Sundyer gets the ball back to Colson. It comes off Kelly Evans, and substitute Bonsai rather clumsily puts the ball out of play for a Kettering Town throw-in. Paul White jogs over to collect the ball for Declan Towers, who will take the throw-in. 2-1 here at Westwood Road to the Poppies, coming back from a a goal behind. 2 wonderful goals, which you'll see on our highlights at some stage. As to say, we are filming this for you today. It is one of the best gantries I've seen in non-league football. This absolutely outstanding. There's only 3 of us on it, but there we go. It is Kelly Evans trying to find Cunnington, but headed out by Seymour Shove, who is a dwarf compared to Cunnington. Certainly made his presence felt as Adam Cunnington when he comes on, and again he's put in a very good shift so far. Physical presence has done well for the Poppies. Ball back with Stanley on the far side. Stanley squares it to Towers. Towers outside the penalty area, catches penalty area. Got a bit of space to move if he wants to. Takes his time, squares it back to Stanley. Stanley now plays it forward to Richens. Richens pumps it forward towards Honus. Now if Honus can keep this in, which he can, he's down by the byline. He's got Kelly Evans behind him. Turns, he's inside the penalty area. Tries another one. And great save there from Conway. He's near post. He was going for the strike. And Conway really did well to hold on to that. It was at the near post, and Honus causing problems once again. Bowled out by Conway on the far side to Jackson. Jackson, long ball for Bonsai to get. He can't. Meikle can. Meikle hooks the ball forward towards O'Connor. But Wallace should win this. There's a bit of confusion here between the goalkeeper and Wallace, and it comes out to Kelly Evans, who's urged to shoot, but he's too far out. Still going forward now. He's got O'Connor. Flag hasn't gone up, and all O'Connor can do though is put the ball out. He couldn't control it, and he put it into the corner flag for a throw-in right down by that corner flag. There's an Ives player's not very happy at all. I don't know why, but O'Connor just put the ball out of play. Throw-in to be taken. Tom Wood with it. Linesman has told him to get back right by the corner flag. Still goes forward too far though, but beaten to it by Meikle. Cleared by Wilson. Only meets Kelly. Kelly back to Declan Towers. Towers pumps the ball forward towards Cunnington. Cunnington wins this one. Can't turn. It's cleared by Wilson. Put out to Ben Baker, who's got a bit of space to use down there. Pumps the ball forward towards Bonsu. He gets the ball. Beaten to it though by Towers, who just lumps the ball forward. It goes out of play for a throw-in. Well, it's been a fantastic second half once again for the Poppies after a really dull first half, to be honest. And wow, you're going to enjoy the goals when you see them later. Hopefully that will be tomorrow. But we'll do what we can when we can. We'll try and get a word with Marcus Law later as well, as Richens hooks the ball towards Cunnington, who's pushed by Wilson, but nothing given by the referee. Wilson still with the ball, pushes him again, and then just kicks the ball off Cunnington for a throw. The referee's given it Kettering's way. And who's going to win this one, the ref or the linesman? The ref is pointing one way, and now he's agreed with the lino. Well, I've just heard from my cameraman that these are the worst officials that he's ever seen. And now he's booking St Ives player for dissent. Yep, and that is going to be Wilson, who Jarvis Wilson goes into the book. So finally play can get back underway. It is. Meikle wins it towards Cunnington. It's cleared to Sundyer, but Richards wins it back for Kettering. Flicked on to Kelly towards Cunnington. Cunnington rather high kick there. Cunnington looks disgusted with that, but nothing given. It's a throw-in to Kettering. The leg went quite across Cunnington's face. Result of that is a throw-in to Kettering, to Kelly, to Meikle. Back to Kelly, back to Holman. Holman puts it well back to Stanley. Stanley squares it to Towers. The usual build-up from Kettering, with Towers and Stanley in the centre there. Gets it back to Richards, who comes back to help out. It's back with Stanley. Stanley pumps the ball forward towards Cunnington, the target man. He chests it down to Holman. Holman then is taken out by Sundyer, and that was a late tackle. And it's only going to be a booking, I think. But yep, it is a booking for Mundash Sundyer, the ex-Kettering player, on a late foul on Holman, who turned too fast for Sundial and caught him late and goes down. It's giving Kettering a free kick about 35 yards out, so I don't really expect a shot to come in from this range, but who knows? We've seen strange things happen, but it's Kelly and Meikle over the ball. That is 10 yards, I would say, now by the linesman. Whistle goes. Kelly gives it to Meikle. Meikle tries a long ranger, and that goes well wide of the goal mouth. I wasn't going to do what Ed Palmer says, saying don't shoot, don't shoot. And he might have scored, mightn't he, if he'd done that. But it's a goal kick anyway to St Ives. Time marching on. Only be around 10 minutes or so, I'd think, of this game left, if that. Conway with the goal kick. Delivers it. That's towards Seymour Shove and Sundial. Towers wins this though to Holman. Holman flicks it towards Meikle. Meikle got Kelly with him. Uses Kelly. Baker's in front of Kelly. Long chase here now for O'Connor if he can beat Jackson to the ball. Jackson has to play the ball out. Good work there from Kettering and especially O'Connor. Good sighting though from Kelly to release O'Connor, putting the back four of St Ives under constant pressure. It's been a pressure half from Kettering this half. Kelly gives the ball back to Stanley. Stanley takes a touch, pumps the ball forward towards Meikle. It's not going to get there. Tom Wood does get there. Finds Baker. Baker, long ball towards Bonsu. Bonsu, the substitute, just come on. He beats the ball past Stanley, still has the ball. And Stanley gets it to Kelly. Then fouled by Bonsu. And linesman gave that one. Foul on Kelly. Paul White strides out of his penalty area to take this. Again, he's not rushing. Paul White then places the ball down. Kettering winning this game 2-1 at the moment. Still White over the ball. Delivers it towards Cunnington. Cunnington doesn't win that header, goes down under pressure. It is Ben Baker, puts a long ball for Bonsai to chase, but that's going to go out of play. It does so. He's a little plant, isn't he? It's a Kettering town, so I'm getting laughed at here for using the word bonsai. Bonsu. Bonsai, bonsu, what's an I between friends, you know? It's a tree, I've been told, bonsai, but it is... Marcus Kelly with the throw-in towards Richards. Richards, long ball towards O'Connor. O'Connor flicks it in front of Wallace, but Wallace goes down and fouls O'Connor. And Wallace not happy with that. And they cuddle each other, do O'Connor and Wallace. It's a free kick to Kettering on the far side. Honus has got the ball. He's leaving it for Kelly. So, fantastic period of play for about 5 minutes of Kettering when they went 2 goals, scored 2 goals, go back into this game. It's Stanley with the ball, gives it back to Kelly. Kelly squares it to Holman. Holman puts it in front of him, then he's knocked down by the number 7, nothing given. Holman gets up, gets the ball back again, plays it long towards Cunnington. Cunnington heads the ball and it's just gone high and wide of Conway. Good directed header though from Cunnington. Certainly made his name for himself since he's been on as Cunnington. Powerful striker and takes a lot of pressure off the incoming forwards. Does Cunnington put a good shift in so far? Martin Conway then with the goal kick, and that should go out of play. It doesn't. Cunnington wins it, heads on towards Honus, but Coulson flicks the ball towards Stanley, heads it back. That's won by Wallace to Coulson. Towers heads it back, bit of head tennis here. Heavy ball towards Coulson. Has to play the ball back to Tom Wood. Wood squares it to Sundial. Sundial comes inside, does well Sundial. He goes down. A foul there by Kelly Evans, and that was a foul. It's in a good place for the home side. And Kelly Evans looks like he's getting the book as well. This referee is booking Kelly Evans for that foul. Well, that's incredible. It was a bit late, admittedly, but tactical foul, we're being told. The thumb goes up and the referee just telling him that he's being booked. So that's 4 bookings for St Ives, 2 bookings for and St Ives throwing the last substitution into it. Former Poppy Jake Newman is coming on for Owen Wallace. But probably the last substitution before the whistle goes, I would have thought. But yeah, but Jake Newman, another Poppy, then coming on. Will look to score against the local club. Referee told him to stop the game. The linesman's not in the correct place. So Jake Newman offered them a line figure when he was in the Poppies. Let's hope he doesn't come back to haunt them as Seymour Shove puts the ball in towards the back post and it's headed on. Paul White comes out, catches, goes down, and Sunday goes over Paul White. Is pushed away by Stanley. Danger averted. I think Jake Newman was the first ever Poppy to get booked at Latimer Park since we moved there in 2013. Towers gets the ball to Sunday under pressure from Holman. Long ball towards Newman. Newman being marshalled by Towers. It comes off Seymour Shove and off Evans. Throw in taken by Colton quickly towards Seymour Shove. And that comes off Kelly Evans again for another throw in to St Ives. Newman handball there trying to, but then the ball goes out and it looks like the last Kettering substitution. And the cry from Mount Lure of Lino can be heard echoing around the ground as Brett Solkin is going to make his customary few minutes of the game. The Kettering Angel getting ever closer to that record of Roger Ashby. And he replaces Aaron O'Connor, who scored that equalising goal, and what a good goal that was too. Drilled it by Conway into the roof of the net, having missed one in the first half, rather similar. Not often that O'Connor needs 2 chances at the bit to make a claim for a goal. Being congratulated by Marcus Law, Richard Lavery and Tom Cherry over there. Mount Lure offers his hand, and it's going to be a goal kick to be taken by Paul White. Taken towards Cunnington, wins the ball to Holman. Holman chests the ball down, but beaten to it by Parker, but he gives it away to Meikle. Meikle comes inside the penalty area now. Meikle being off by Parker. In comes Meikle, does well, does a pirouette down there. If we get a shot on it, it'll be a goal. They can't get a shot on, and somehow St Ives contrived to get the ball away. It's Seymour Shove with it. If any Kettering could have got on there. And that is put out by Seymour Shove. No. Referee says no. And it is, well, the linesman gave nothing. Kettering player picked up the ball, should be handball. Newman has a go at the referee. The linesman gives a Kettering throw in, and Kelly Evans delivers it towards Solkin's first touch, and that goes out for a St Ives throw in. Interesting decisions made by the officials this afternoon. And then we always say that, don't we, at these games. But at the moment, Kettering leading 2-1 here. Can't be long to go. I haven't got a stopwatch on, so I can't give you the exact amount of time. Ball put in towards Stanley. He heads the ball out, finding Honus. Honus chests the ball, hooks it over his head, but only finds Parker. Parker with a bit of space. Puts the ball through to Sunday. Sunday's got Seymour Shove on his left. Comes inside, though. Puts the ball in, headed out by Declan Towers. This should go towards Cunnington. Lets the ball bounce. Cunnington heads the ball square to Meikle. Meikle. Long ball now for Honus to chase. If he can keep this in, he can. Done well here, and then as comes off the St Ives player Wood, and that should be a throw-in. I reckon there's around 3 minutes plus stoppage time to go. It looks like Kettering are going to make their final substitution, and so are St Ives. But at the moment, it's a throw-in taken by Kelly Evans to Holman. Back to Kelly Evans. Cunnington's been given the ball inside the penalty area. Pushes through to Meikle. Meikle fires a shot, and high and wide of Conway's goal, and Yep, it's going to be Gary Storer coming on for the final 3 or 4 minutes. And he is going to replace Rhys Honus, who once again has put in tremendous shifts. So both goal scorers have gone off. Rhys Honus, wonderful goal from Honus. As I say, you will see that on our highlights later. And Rhys Honus getting a warm applause from this Kettering crowd. It's his 12th league goal of the season. He's 16th overall, and he comes off to the chance of Rhys Honus, and rightly so as well. So Gary Storer comes on wearing his beard. A cracking beard it is too. I always mention Gary Storer's beard, and it is developing into an impressionist painter. And St Ives are going to replace Robbie Parker, I think, with, let's see who's coming on here. No, it is Mark Coulson is coming off, and 14, George Bailey coming on. Wasn't he in A Wonderful Life, George Bailey? Was that? Yeah, wasn't that a Christmas song, Wonderful Life? Oh well, George. So George Bailey, let's hope he's not got no angel looking after him on this one. And as we come to the final moments of this chess game, the end game it's called, and it's going to be a goal kick taken by Conway. Conway takes it, delivers it. Richards underneath it, wins the header, but it goes towards Jackson, picks the ball up in the centre circle, feeds the ball wide to Baker on the far side. Baker running at Kelly. He's got Bonsu on the other side, he uses him. Bonsu going to come inside, he does, comes inside the penalty area, has to play the ball out wide. He does, towards Coulson, to Jackson. Jackson headed out though by Stanley, cleared by Storer. Cut out by Sundier, rather well by Sundier. And he's beaten to it by Holman, but won back by Bonsu to Baker. Baker trying to get something out of it, and it is in fact a corner to a throw-in right on the halfway line. Some scores coming through here. Stratford 2, Hales owing 1, boo. Stourbridge still winning 1-0. Colville 1, Tamworth 2, wow. Kings Lynn 2, Redditch 0. Alfchurch 2, Biggleswade 1 are the ones that affect Kettering. The most important one at the moment is here at Westwood Road, and Kettering in a dangerous position. Throw-in comes in towards the penalty area, headed out by Towers. Back to the throw-in taker. Kelly clears it towards Holman. Holman can't control the ball. It's pumped back into there again. Towers underneath it. But again, Ives get the ball. Meikle trying to win the ball back. Seymour shove. Pumps the ball through towards Baker. Goes down. Referee says no this time to a penalty. He's diving around is Baker. Nothing given as he's rolling around as if he'd been shot by a sniper. And he's still down, Ben Baker. Nothing given. Thrown on the far side. Baker gets up though. Bonsu with the ball. Squares it to Tom Wood. It's St Ives with the pressure. They're putting Kettering under pressure, but a poor ball from Wood. Pumped the ball forward. Out comes Paul White. Takes his time. Makes Sundier come towards him. Falls down on the ball. Precious seconds being wasted there by Kettering, and rightly so. Well, Kettering are at home next week to Rush Hall Olympic. Final home game of February. Paul White delivers the ball towards Meikle. Tom Wood heads the ball. Storer and Salkin going for it. So foul by Salkin. And the ball has to come back to Parker. And Ives rushing to get the ball back. Goalkeeper comes out. It's not in the correct position. Referee hasn't seen that. He's pitched about 10 yards with this kick. But it's going to be Conway taking this. Some of the fans beginning to make their way out of the ground with black and white scarves on, I hasten to add. Conway, long ball in. Headed on there. It's dangerous here for Kettering. Kelly Evans gets the ball away. Sundier trying to get it. There's Jarvis. He puts the ball through to Bailey. Bailey puts one in. Headed out. Dangerous stuff here. Bailey tries a long ranger. It comes in. And Paul White. And it comes off a deflected boot for a corner as Paul White was at full strength. So St Ives putting pressure on Kettering in these final moments, trying to grab a late equaliser. Just what we don't want to see. I prefer the ball to be in the other half, but it's going to be a corner to be taken by St Ives. In it comes, near post, headed out. Paul White bats it down, and he's just hooked away by Kelly Evans. Rather fortunately for Paul White, he batted that down and there was no St Ives player following up. Hooked away by Kelly Evans. Goalkeeper has taken the throw in from the number 8. He's now playing as a midfielder. Hooked on by, bit of problems here for Kettering. A slice by Storer and Richards, and the ball somehow ends up in Paul White's arms as the Kettering town nerves begin to kick in as we're in the 90 blur minute at the moment, time when Kettering usually score a goal. So let's hope we can get one again. Poor kick though from Paul White this time, and well won by Declan Towers, trying to find Cunnington, can't. Towers wins the header again towards Cunnington. Cunnington heads the ball on towards Meikle. Meikle's got Holman in front of him. Here comes Meikle. Still Meikle inside the penalty area. He's still got Holman with him. Puts the ball over, but he can't get it towards Holman. And out comes Conway. Dives on the ball. And it is still the goalkeeper with the ball. Plays it long towards Jake Newman. He wins it through towards the other substitute, the 14, Bailey. But he only hooks the ball to Paul White, who allows the ball to run right down to his penalty area. Then he falls down the ball again. Gets a few words from George Bailey as he did so. I'm sure Paul White can deal with that bit of sledging. Let's hope White's kick's better than the last one. It is. It's towards Meikle. Out comes Conway though to collect it. Conway rolls the ball in front of him. Everyone urging St Ives to go forward. It's not over yet. Towers wins a towering header towards Cunnington, heads the ball on to Meikle. Meikle wants a back heel, can't get there. Still Meikle with it, flicks the ball through to Cunnington, but Cunnington won't have the pace, I don't think, to reach this. Conway does, hooks it towards Kelly. Kelly needs to head this, he does. Gets it to Holman on the far side. Holman keeps the ball in play, got two round him. Still Holman with it. Holman on the byline, then he's fouled, brought down. Still has the ball though, does well there. To Kelly, Kelly finds Storer. Storer, again, very tight on this byline. Wonderful work there from Storer. Flicks the ball on towards Cunnington. Cunnington taking it into the corner flag. And he's in the corner flag there. They're hacking away. Still Cunnington with it. Still Cunnington with it. And a foul on Cunnington. And he goes down. Good work there from Adam Cunnington. And just where we want the ball to be, in the opposition's half by the corner flagish area. All the Kettering fans are in that half. 2-1 to the Poppies, coming back from a goal down. A penalty. Aaron O'Connor getting the equaliser on 32 minutes. And a great goal from Reese Honus in the second half. But Cunnington taking the free kick, and it comes off Parker for another Kettering throw-in. No one taking much time to take this. Referee urging Kettering to get on with it. Storer trots over to get the ball. The referee does look at his watch. And Storer with it. Still Storer, throws it to Meikle. Meikle under pressure from Sundai, gets it to Cunnington. Cunnington down there. And another throw into Kettering in the same position. Ball has gone nowhere. The referee again looks at his arm. Tom Cherry asking how long to go. Marcus Law comes out of the dugout. He's been stood up quite a while, Marcus Law. Storer with it from the throw-in on the byline. Very, very tight indeed. It's a slashing and kicking going on there. Can't see what's going on, but Kettering get the ball away, and this time it is all over it. There goes the whistle. Well, that was a bit of a surprise ending there. Ed Palmer pumps his fist. Kettering come away with a 2-1 win, a good 2-1 win, a great second half. The march continues, still 5 points clear as Stourbridge were winning as well. So Kettering have done well. We hope to get some comments from Marcus Law a little later. You'll see some of the highlights from this game later on also. But from me, Ed Palmer and Richard Atkinson, it is good night from Westwood Road.